Hey guys, welcome back to Creating a Mythology. In this episode, we will be vastly expanding the Pantheon, adding a whole bunch of gods and goddesses, as well as continuing the creation myth. Valestus and Dionysus pushed the tides back and forth, continuing the conflict between earth and sea, between Wutram and Shudra. Things continued like this for a while before Shudra decided to have a second child in order to overpower Wutram. Shudra went to Miata, and together they had a daughter named Zaitrua, the goddess of thunder and lightning. Zay coming from the Lithuanian word Zabas, meaning lightning, and Trua coming from the Latin word Tonitrua, meaning thunder. Zaitrua was a destructive and powerful goddess, so, in response, Wutram also went and had another child with Miata, creating Silmans, the goddess of volcanoes, mountains, and earthquakes, another very powerful and destructive goddess. History repeated itself once more, and Shudra had a third child with Miata, a daughter named Yavaris, the goddess of death. Yav coming from the Lithuanian word for reaper, Yavabute, and the Latin word for underworld, Infernus. Instead of the brute force that Valestus and Zaitrua used, Yavaris slowly ate away at Wutram. In response, Wutram also had a third child with Miata, a son named Karsilva, the god of nature and the forest. Kar coming from the Lithuanian word Karlas, meaning king, and the Latin word Silva, meaning forest. Now these six gods, the direct children of the three Pravashen, are known as the Dudeos, coming from the Lithuanian word du, meaning two, and the Latin word deus, meaning god, coming together to mean second god, as in these gods are the second generation of God. Now, one thing that's interesting is the number 3. The number 3 is prevalent in a number of mythologies, most famously Greek, because it disrupts the binary of 2. You see, there are 3 Pravashen and currently 6 Dudeos. I want to keep our number of gods divisible by 3. Anyways, the earth gods and sea gods continued to fight, but eventually grew tired of fighting a conflict between Wutram and Shudra, and the 6 Dudeos met secretly and discussed how to end the war. The Dudeos knew they wouldn't be strong enough to stop Wutram and Shudra as they were, so they do what all gods in this mythology do when they need a power-up. They have some kids. Now, at least for right now, marriage and monogamy isn't really a concept that the gods follow, so the gods who have kids with each other can then go on and have kids with other gods. So Dionysus and Havaris have a daughter named Sensani. Sen, coming from the Japanese word sensei, meaning teacher, and the Hausa word sani, meaning wisdom. Sensani is the goddess of wisdom, knowledge, and education. Next, Valestus and Silmans had a son named Tataki, with Tata coming from the Japanese word tatakai, meaning fighting, and the Hausa word yaki, meaning war, with Tataki being the god of war and fighting. Finally, Karsilva and Zaitrua had a son named Kokia. Ko coming from the Japanese word kon, meaning luck, and Kia coming from the Hausa word dukia, meaning wealth. Kokia is the god of good fortune. These 3 gods represent more human emotions and concepts than the Dudeos, and are known as Kodala, with Koda coming from the Japanese word for feeling, and Allah coming from the Hausa word for God, Allah. The now 9 gods then confronted Wutram and Shudra, with the whole thing devolving into a 3-way fight, with the Dudeos and Kodala coming out victorious and ending the first conflict, thus creating the first era of peace, simply known as the First Era. Now, a number of mythologies have different eras where different gods and different versions of the Pantheon rule. Once again, using Greece as an example, you can look back to how in Greek mythology there was the Golden Age and the Silver Age and then the Bronze Age. It is within this first era that I will be having a lot of our next myths take place, including the continuation of the creation myth where humans are first created, but I believe I will leave that for the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.